In .NET Core application, configuration settings are used for maintaining flexibility and separating environment-specific variables like database connection strings, logging preference, and third-party service URLs, etc. For configuration settings, we normally use appsettings.json file. In this video, we are going to explore how to set configurations in appsettings.json file. And we are going to show how to access or read these configurations from C# codes. And finally, how to use environment-specific configurations like development, staging, and productions. And how to load these environment-specific configurations files. Okay, let's start setting configurations in appsettings.json file of a .NET Core project. Okay, this is a .NET Core project. Let's expand the Solution Explorer and expand the project. Look, there is a configuration file here, appsettings.json. Let's open it. Look, already there is a configuration of logging is here. Now let's put another configurations here. Let's put a configuration for our database connection here. Connection string. Let's name this database connection is database connection. Put the connection here. This is my database connection. Several configurations can put here. Sometimes for API project, we need to set some configurations in configuration file. Under the connection strings, now we're going to set the configurations for API settings. And this is, suppose this is our API settings configurations, which contains base URL and API key. For mail configurations, we can put SMTP configurations in our configuration file like this. SMTP settings, host, port, username, password. We can put all the settings here. Now let's see how to read or access these configurations or configuration values from C# code. Okay, we want to access or read these configurations value from our controller, from home controller. You can access or read this configurations value from your service class or repository class or anywhere that is convenient for your project. But for learning today, we are going to use it in our home controller, or from our home controller we are going to access or read these configurations. But to access or read these configurations, we are going to inject iConfiguration class here. Configuration. Let's take a private property here. And in index action, we want to access these configurations, and in the index view, we want to show them so that we can understand that how can these configurations access or read. Okay. Now, to show them in our view, we are going to put them in view bag. viewbreak dot connection equals to underscore configurations dot get connection strings. Then what is the name of our connection strings? Database connection. Put it here. Then we can access this database connection value using this code. Now in the index view, we want to show it here, display it here. Right. Let's see what is happening now. Look, our connection string is displaying here. What was our connection string? This is our connection string. And we put this connection string in our appsettings.json. And in controller, we access this connection string. Then in the view, we display this connection string for our better understanding. Okay. For connection strings, we use this connection string get connection string method. But if we want to read or access logging or API settings, then what should we do? Viewbreak dot EI equals to underscore configurations dot get value string and how can we get our API settings value? Suppose we want to get or read the base URL of our API settings. And what should we do? First, take this API settings, that means this name, then clone, then base URL. And this is how you can read the API settings value. Now we want to display this API settings value or API base URL in our index view. Look, our API base URL is displaying here, and this is how you can put configurations to your appsettings.json file and access the values like this. Now let's define these configurations environment specific. Sometimes we need to configure our settings for different stages in our software development life cycles. Here we are going to work with three types of environment specific configuration. One is development, then another is staging, another is production. Development during the software development and staging during the software testing, and when the software is going to live, then we use the live configuration settings. To do this, we will use three different configuration files. One is appsettings.Development.json, the another is appsettings.Staging.json, then the last one is appsettings.Production.json. Let's see how to do this. To do this, we are going to take these three files. Let's expand appsettings.json. Already one configuration file, development configuration file is here. Now we are going to take another configuration files. Right click on the project, then add, then new item, appsetting file, then name the appsettings file. We are going to take this file for staging. Add. Look, appsettings.Staging.json has been included here. Let's take another configuration file for production. Add, new item, put here production, add, and the production configuration file is here. We are going to delete these configurations because these configurations already exist in our appsettings.json file. Delete this. Then production. Delete this. This configuration is common, and that is why these common configurations we put in appsettings.json file. Look, our login configuration is already here, so we need not to put these configurations in our production or staging or development configuration file. These three files, notice these three files, staging, production, development, will merge with appsettings.json file during the runtime. So those configurations are common, need not to put in development, production or staging files. Just put them in appsettings.json file. Okay. In appsettings.json file, we have connection strings. For different stages, we may need different types of connection strings. That means we may have different types of servers, right? So let's put them, exclude them from appsettings.json file and put it to the environment specific configuration files. First, put it in the production file, then my production server. Let's name the server name is my production server. Database name is my production DB. Suppose username and password is same. Fine. Let's put this connection string to the development also. And this is development server. And development database. Now let's run the project. We put a connection string in development.json, production.json, but nothing is Staging.json. Now run it. Let's see what is happening. And no connection string is in the appsettings.json. Now run it. Look, which connection string is showing. That is our development connection string is showing. Right? Server equals to development server, database equals to development database. Then what it is indicating? It is indicating that appsettings.Development.json file is merged with appsettings.json. And that is why our connection strings from appsettings.Development.json file is displaying here. Now, if we want to load our production configuration file, then we need to put some codes in our program.cs file. Let's see what are they. This is our program.cs file. Options equals to new web application options. Environment name equals to production. Now put these options in Kit Builder. We put our options in Kit Builder methods as parameter. To load our environment specific configuration file, we need to put some external codes. Let's paste it here. To load environment specific configuration files, we need to put this code here. Let's run our project. Let's see what is happening. Look, now our connection string is loading from our production configuration file. In production configuration file, our server name was my production server. And what it is showing? My production server. And look one thing, that our API base URL is also showing here. That means our appsettings.json file and our appsettings.Production.json file is loading together. That means appsettings.Production.json file is merging with appsettings.json file. Now, if we want to load our staging configuration file, then what should we do? Staging configuration file is used during the testing. Then there is nothing in our staging.json file. Let's load this staging.json file, blank JSON file, and see what is happening. And change the name is staging. Now we are going to load our staging.json file. Let's see what is happening. First, close the project, stop the debugging, and then run the project again. Look, there is no connection string is showing here, because now our staging.json file is loading. That means staging.json file is merging with appsettings.json file, and in staging.json file there is no connection string is here, and also in appsettings.json file there is no connection string, and that is why no connection string is displaying here, right? Then to display connection string here, we need to put our staging connection string to the staging.json file. Let's copy this connection string and put it our staging.json configuration file. Let's name it staging server. Now run the project. Let's see what is happening. Look, now it is displaying our connection string that is coming from our staging.json file. And this is how you can configure your environment specific configurations. And for environment specific configurations, you can load this environment specific configuration file from program.cs like this. And this development is for developers. When developers developing their project, then they will load development configurations. But by default, development configuration is loading by itself. But if you want to load staging or production, then you need to load it from program.cs. And that's all about the configuration files appsettings.json in .NET Core. If you find this video helpful and want to get more videos like this, then subscribe our channel